I grew up in a 900 square foot mobile home, 7,000 people. I came from nothing. I see a house like this and it like makes my heart pump.
I didn't go to school. I didn't go to college. I was not a great student in high school either. I was very, very obsessive about learning every possible thing.
JT has had a huge success in the past, year. His knowledge has been desired all over the world.
My biggest goal in life is I just want to help the person I used to be.
A single video that I got paid $750 to make ended up generating over $22,000 in referral projects. No cold calls, no cold DMs, no outreach at all. I want to tell you the full story of how that happened because it starts with me making $30,000 a month and almost walking away from all of it. So this was February of last year, and I need to tell you what was going on in my life before I can tell you about that video because context matters. I was saying yes to everything, every agent that called, every listing, every shoot, and it was working. I was pulling in $1,500, $2,000 a day sometimes, and I had a stretch where I made $20,000 in 10 days. But here's what that actually felt like. I would wake up, drive 50 miles to a shoot, get home at 6, offload the footage, eat dinner, help with the kids, and then I'm up editing until 2 a.m. every single night. I couldn't find an editor who could match what I was doing, so every frame, every cut, every color grade, it all fell on my shoulders. And the pressure was insane because every client expected their video to go viral. They'd seen my viral stuff before, and I had kind of set that expectation on myself, if I'm being honest. So every video that didn't blow up felt like I was failing them and failing myself. I remember sitting in the car after the shoot, looking at my calendar for the next 2 weeks, and I thought, I cannot keep doing this 6 months from now. I physically cannot keep doing this. And the worst part, I couldn't even hold a conversation with my wife at the end of the day because my brain was completely fried. I was there, but mentally, I was completely gone. And I looked at some of the volume guys around. They're shooting 5 houses a day. They've been doing it for 6, 8, 10 years. Their job is 30 to 45 minutes per house, no editing, low stress, same hours as me, but completely different experience. And I felt like a fraud because I couldn't figure out how to turn what I was good at into something sustainable. I had all this talent, I had views, and I had clients calling, but I was completely miserable and overwhelmed. Now I want to take you back even a year before that in 2024. I was told if you want to grow in this business, you've got to do outreach. So I did what I thought you were supposed to do. I built the spreadsheet full of realtors, builders, developers, anybody that I could think of, and I sent emails. I sent DMs, the whole playbook everybody tells you to follow, and the response was nothing. 0 replies. I'm talking not a single person wrote me back. Honestly, I felt stupid, like I was doing something wrong. Like maybe I just wasn't as good as I thought I was. Because if the work was really that good, why wasn't it enough to just show people? That question sat with me and it took me a while to figure out the answer. Now still, this is February of 2024. While all that outreach was going nowhere, I was also doing a 30-day posting challenge. Just committed to posting every single day, no matter what, just post something. And during that phase, there was one agent I really wanted to work with. She was a luxury agent in Las Vegas. She had a decent following, around 12,000 followers, already investing in her personal brand, already creating content. In my head, this was the perfect client. All I had to do was get in front of her and show her what I could do. So I reached out and she basically tells me I'm a scammer. Nope. Not interested. I get hit up all the time from people like you who want to make viral content together. And I mean, that sucked because I wasn't a scammer. I was a guy who's genuinely good at what I did, or I thought so at least, trying to get in front of someone who I genuinely thought could benefit from it. She didn't know that though, and she had no reason to know that because I was just another person in her DMs. But here's where it gets interesting. While all the outreach is failing, one of my 30-day challenge posts goes up and it was rough. It was a quick little reel, nothing special. The caption was something like, POV, you make listings feel like a movie trailer. 15 seconds, not great. But I didn't send it to her. I just posted it on my profile. Well, a few days later, she saw it and she came back. Yeah, the same person who called me a scammer. She messaged me back and said, okay, wait, maybe you actually do this. How much do you charge? Fast forward 6 months later, she flew me out to LA to a $22 million property and the rest was history. That wasn't the first property we did together though. In that initial conversation, we made a plan to shoot an upcoming listing she had. She had a special one she was working on bringing to market. She said something about being able to drive a car through the front door and thought it would be a good opportunity to try something new. I agreed, of course, and we went along with it. But life got in the way for a few months, schedules didn't line up, and in June, 5 months later, we finally shot the property. If you knew me at all before watching this video, you've probably seen this house. There's not too many houses in the world where you can park cars in the living room, much less a Bugatti and a Koenigsegg. And I'm gonna go off script here for just a second. If you have a once-in-a-lifetime property show up and you only make one video, what are you even doing? See, luck is where preparation meets opportunity. I stayed up all night scripting, studying, researching, coming coming up with concepts. We ended up shooting 7 or 8 videos for that one listing. And that's where the whole campaign strategy was born. I didn't even realize it at the time. Some of those videos did really well, some of them flopped, but the views weren't the point. The point was I earned her trust. The agent who thought I was a scammer flew me to LA 1 month later to shoot a $22 million house in Bel Air and a $15 million house in Encino. And we've worked together on some pretty high profile projects since. So after that experience with her, things started to change. I stopped worrying about pitching people and started focusing on one thing, making work that was impossible to ignore. Around May of last year, I had a client with an empty lot. Now, if you've never shot an empty lot, you know the problem. How do you sell dirt? Most creators would take some drone shots, some photos, send the invoice, and move on. But I had an idea, and I wanted to push the envelope creatively and do something nobody in my market had done before. I won't go into the specifics because that's a whole nother video on its own, but I made a video that looked completely different from anything agents had seen before. I charged $750 for it. We posted it to Instagram, and here's what happened. So here's the video. We charged $750 for it, but it was so unique and nobody had seen anything like it in our area. And what happened was we ended up having 2 new clients in my same market see this video and reach out to me wanting to do something similar. This agent here said, hey, I've got 2 properties just like that one. Can we do something similar? Absolutely. That turned into 2 more videos. I had another agent from a town up north see what we did and said, hey, I've got a townhome that I want to do that for. Let's make something happen there. Well, here's what happened after that. Each one of these videos was seen by another agent, another new client who had 2 more empty lots that wanted to do something similar. So we made 2 more videos. And then over here, a new agent again saw this video and said, I've got a really unique project that I want to try this out on. Can we do something there? That was a more complex project. We charged $2 grand for that. And then 3 months later, this same client hired me to make 2 more videos just like this one at $1,500 each. Then these videos were picked up by another agent in a different city. We made 2 videos. 1 week later, we made 2 more. Another client saw one of these videos. This video turned into a $6,000 campaign. And this new client over here saw this video, which turned into another $4,500 campaign. All in all, this one video generated me over $22,000. And if you look at this, I want to point something out to you. When you make great work and then you make more great work, people see that and they want to hire you again and again and again and again and again. This is how you build a sustainable business doing work you love. 7 new clients, over $22,000 in new revenue from a $750 video that I posted and moved on from. 0 cold outreach, 0 pitching. The work walked into the room and I didn't have to. Now, I want to be real with you. This didn't happen by accident. There was a very specific approach behind every step of this. The way I created that video, the way I posted it, the way I pitched the second agent differently than I would the year earlier. None of that was random. Here's what I want you to take from this though. The gap between that $750 video and the $100 video from the next guy down the street is not a talent gap. We all have the same cameras. We all have the same software. We all have the same tools. The difference is I made something that mattered to someone specific and I let the work do the talking. There's a concept that applies to pretty much every service business on the planet. You've probably heard of it before, but I don't think most people actually sit with it. Good, fast, cheap. Pick 2. You can never have all 3. If you want something good and fast, it's not going to be cheap. If you want something cheap and fast, it's not going to be good. And if you want something good and cheap, it's not going to be fast. Now, here's why this matters to you specifically. Most real estate videographers are trying to be all 3. They're trying to produce great work, deliver it fast, and keep their prices low enough that agents don't push back. And that's where the burnout comes from. That's the trap. You can't be all 3. Nobody can. So the real question isn't how do I get better at my craft? The question is which 2 am I choosing? And once you pick, everything gets simpler. Your pricing makes sense. Your schedule makes sense. Your client expectations make sense because you're not fighting an impossible triangle anymore. I'm not going to tell you which 2 to pick. That's totally your call. But I will tell you this. All those guys out there who are undercutting the competition, trying to make that style of video, you know the one I'm talking about, for $300. Listen, I know how much work goes into those. I've made them before. And by the time it's all said and done, after the hours spent scripting, shooting, editing, planning, they're making less than minimum wage. Those guys will be out of business by the end of the year. And if they're not, they'll be wishing they were. That's what happens when you try to be all 3. So what's your time worth to you? Listen, I'm telling you all of this because I think my past is probably your present. If you're the person driving 45 minutes to a $400 shoot right now, editing until midnight, wondering why agents keep hiring the cheaper guy down the street, I've been in that car. I've made that drive many times. I've stared at that timeline at 2 a.m. and I've felt like a fraud asking for the price I knew the work was worth. And I can tell you exactly what was off. It comes down to three things. You don't have a system. And I don't just mean for shooting, I mean for all of it. You're reinventing the wheel every single time you sit down. That's why it takes so long, and that's why the results are inconsistent. Agents don't see the difference between you and the next guy. They hear, I make videos, and they lump you in with everyone else. You haven't figured out how to communicate why your work is worth more. And until you do, you're stuck competing on price. And editing is eating your life. Because you don't have a workflow you can repeat, you don't have a process you could hand to someone else if you wanted to. So everything sits on your shoulders. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I can fix all of that in a YouTube video. I can't. But I can tell you that each of those problems has a very specific answer. And the answer is different depending on where you are, what market you're in, and what kind of work you're doing. That's why I want to talk directly to you. If you're doing this work and what I said today hit close to home, I build a free community for people just like you. Just a room full of creators who are done competing on price and want to build something better. The link is in the description. Come introduce yourself. Tell us what you're working on. And if you got something out of this video, subscribe. I've got more of these coming, and I'll see you in the next one.